Well, fellas, a lot of you guys are asking about the grid heater. So here, grid heater bolt. So as you can tell, we got the injectors out. We're putting new injectors, but here's the grid heater. It's already been wiped down. What am I doing? I removed the whole thing. But to my surprise, this is the original bolt and everything. All it's been done is the bolt or the nut was not loose when we initially pulled it out. It was just too nasty to make any videos of it. So we pulled all this out and put this bolt back in here. So I'm not gonna use the grid heater anymore. Oh, what am I trying to show you guys? It's a sad day in Caucasian history, man. This is crazy. You guys know this truck, and you know I've personally owned it since it was brand spanking new. And what really stood out to me, man, where did I lose that flashlight? I'll come back and show you the tubes. Tubes kind of surprised me too. So, from a young age, this truck's been breathing well from 29,000 miles, right? This thing's been breathing well. I want to show you. You see all that nasty? You could see the off-color stuff, like the gray stuff. That's the stuff that fell in. All this black stuff was in here. I'm mind-blown, guys. I'm honestly mind-blown. I don't know what's up with this truck and why this truck has so much us. I better try to show you. Grab something to scrape it with. There's a lot of buildup in there, guys. There's quite a bit of buildup. I want to grab something fine. I'll take an Allen wrench. Oh, this is crazy. Yes, this video is about heater grids. Grid heaters. Do you need to remove them? Not necessarily. Just keep an eye on that post. But look how bad this thing is. I'm being careful with it. Guys, this is crazy. So what my guys are gonna do is they're gonna go ahead and bring the vacuum in here and slowly work that crap out of there, clean it all up. As you can tell, they've wiped down the injectors, they've numbered them. Well, there's a question. Do you need to do the tubes? Do you need to clean the tubes? Typically what I look for in the tubes, shoot, oh, there you go. I mean, you can see the marking where it was, but there's really no need to change it. And here's the situation with this one, and this is my conclusion thus far. These are original injectors. These tubes have never been pulled out. So for 500,000 miles, this truck has original injectors, and the tubes were never yanked out of them. So that's something to consider, because these guys, just so you understand, they rest in here, right? There's still really small vibration. I expected more wear out of them, but there's really not much there. If anything, it's a bit of a polish. This is the piece that was pulled out, right? It was right in there. So this bolt wasn't cooked to crap. Nothing was replaced. I think they put another washer in there to make sure this isn't going to come loose. I'll tell them to put some Loctite in there. I just don't want to have a hole in here for whatever reason. My guy decided to leave like that. Just leave it alone. I think that nut is a locking nut as is, but I'd still Loctite it in there just for peace of mind. And these things fail because a lot of electricity goes through them. They're a heater. It's really what it is a heater element, and it burns itself to death and falls off. So we're not going to have that hooked up anymore. So hopefully that makes sense. Oh, he just cleaned up this cradle. Nice. Anyways, boys, so hopefully this answers your question. Have I ever had one of these fail? No. Have I had one close to failing? No. What do I do? What measures do I take? I just reach in there and I wiggle that wire. Well, this wire right there. And as long as she's not moving on you, because you got to realize the way this thing sits in here, the whole load's on it, right? You come in here and this thing's wiggling on you, you better be careful. I'm not saying there's no guarantee that in 5,000 miles it's not going to drop on you, but from my experience and what's worked for us, because we haven't had a single failure. If you're new to the channel, we have quite a few of these 4th-gens. Well, I understand it clips in there, but anyways, we never had issues. That's how we inspect it. That question arose a lot. I wanted to show it to you. the new injectors. I think you already, yeah, he already has them in here. They're all brand new. The tubes are new. I put new tubes in there as well. The tubes are a little bigger. I'm using 30% over SNS injectors. I know some of you guys are gonna ask. So there you have it. I was thinking about buying, because these are really cheap, right? You could buy one for, I don't know, 70 bucks off the internet. But there's something about the original one. I just like having it. Most likely we'll come in and just cut this off, make it a hair wider, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, boys. As always, may the Lord bless you. May Almighty find day and just bring you along on these journeys, show you what's going on and all the shenanigans. But out of this whole process, there's three things that stood out to me. How much soot's in there? How much soot's in there? Keep in mind, this thing breathes well from 29,000 miles on her. The minimal wear on these tubes, I was expecting more wear. All the tubes are in really good shape. No, I would not reuse these tubes on 30 over injectors. These are the original injectors. They ran fine. I started feeling it wasn't smoking, the engine wasn't laggy. But on idle, I started getting a little bit of imperfect balance. I'm not saying something I could hear. It's straight up feel. Just seems like the timing was off on them. Just leave it at that. Paul does a lot of things according to his butt dyno. Excuse my vocabulary there, but that's the best way I could describe it. And you guys out there that are dealing with engines, you just have, you feel what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's improper. So there you have it, boys. Hopefully this video helps you guys kind of come to terms. Oh, and the third one, I never told you about the third one. First one was the soot, second one was the tubes, and the third one is in how good of a shape this thing is. It never wiggled, but I expected some kind of signs of overheating, and this also speaks, it hasn't been overheated, it's not deformed, nothing. So I don't know what you guys are doing, dropping bolts, the mileage that some of those guys are claiming. The only thing that comes to mind is a lot of in-town, startups, a lot of heat cycles. I guess that's what we'll do. But I mean, 500,000 is still 500,000. I know there are a lot of highway miles, but there's still a lot of startups, This thing was personally used for 175,000. Obviously, a lot of it was high miles as well, but then I handed over to the drivers. But we just, it's already up there. I was going to show you a couple of those. I was walking around the other day, and I saw that those weren't bad either, the bolt on the heater grid. So I don't want to say a myth, because clearly it's an issue. A lot of guys are struggling from it, worried about it. But what I've done, make sure that the upper bolt's tight. And what I mean by the upper bolt, the bolt that holds that terminal down. Make sure it's nice and snug. As you can tell, our wire is zip tied. Everything's zip tied together. Less movement, less things to wear. Anyways, boys, as always, may the Lord bless you. May Almighty find day, and know that this is my personal tow rig now. And man, am I having fun. Oh, shoot, let me get y'all a little swift, not swift, but a little sneak peek. We're putting on a little bit bigger injectors back here. Not injectors, what am I talking about? Airbags. So we went from those stouty ones. I don't see them around here. Hey, is Max around here?
No.
No?
He's not.
Anyways, so I'm going to Firestone 7500s. I'm not liking the way the rear end's riding on this thing. So I was gonna start out the airbags. If the airbags don't do the trick for me, I will go to leaf springs, and I think I'll leave it at that. I'm super happy with the front end. I couldn't be happier with it. I just don't need more than what the front end's offering right now. I gotta wrap this up. We'll talk about it later. I'll get you an update on the suspension, and I'll get into details on the front end. As always, may the Lord bless you. May y'all mighty fine day, and I guess this is one of the old ones. Ciao. Bye.